Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to the progress report for July 2022. This is the video where I take you inside my ink journals and we talk about how things have been going with the 8 pens and the 8 inks that I'm trying out this month. Actually, 7 of these inks are brand new to me, just brand new. And only one, which is Pilot Iroshizuku Murasaki Shikabu, that's the only one I was familiar with. So that has been really interesting. All of the pens I had written with before. So let's get started. I wanted to show you this little bookmark that was sent to me by pen friend Lori. It has a little, let me take it off the actual book so you can really see it. It has a little fountain pen. It's so cute. I'm just in love with it. Let's see. I have to let it like kind of dangle naturally, but it's a pink fountain pen. It's so pretty. And there was another one too that she sent with a little cat, and it says, "I love my cat." And Coco came. Right now he had to be with Menno because he came and he got really kind of crazy about these. But I wanted to show you that, and thank you so much. They're just so cute, and they kind of hang right over the edge of the book. So I love it. Okay, I think we'll start in here. This is the Bond Travel Gear Tomoe River paper journal, and I have done a beginning in here. I have not graded yet, so I think we'll do that together. We'll see how it goes time-wise, because it's already been 16 days writing with these. So what I did was I started in here, and I did a longer writing sample with each one. So the first pen is this one here, the Lamy Safari White Red, or Red White. Let's see, what am I calling it? White Red with a broad nib, and Dominant Industry Royal Azalea. This is really, really pretty. It's not as like dark and bright, but it's very, very pleasing. It's very readable, so it's not one of those that I would right away discount and say that it's too light. No, it's really, really nice. So let's see. I was just making notes about what I was doing that day, laundry and the heat alert and stuff like that. But then when you activate it with a water brush, it wasn't, it didn't act like Sailor Ackaby. I mean, yeah, it didn't act like that, and it didn't act like Vita Macopa because it is lighter. So doing that, I could see that it's not that extremely vibrant or dark. And I said it was lighter than Diplomat Orchid, but it's a very similar shade, just lighter than Orchid. Okay, so that's neat. And I really, really like it. I just prefer the darker, more extreme, I guess. Yeah, I think probably, I don't know if I still have that tile out, but I just like an extremely vibrant one. And I don't have that out right. Actually, even I prefer the Pilot one because it just really pops on the page. But it is pretty. And I had ordered that sample from Vanness. So that's going well, though. I'm glad I went with a broad nib. So that is nice. And we will get into the other journal. 4 of these I did in the Unison Composition book. But I didn't bother with some of them because they were kind of lighter, and I didn't think it would work out good. So the second pen is the Platinum 3776 Century Nice with in the rose gold with a broad nib, and it's got the Conklin Vintage Purple, and I really like this. If I didn't already have so much purple, I'd be extremely tempted by this ink, but I do have quite a few like TWSBI Purple and Mont Blanc Beetles psychedelic purple and Waterman tender purple, and I could go on. So, but this is really pretty, and I'm super happy that I get a chance to try these Conklin inks because they're really well behaved and flowy, and I like that. So this was from Pen Friend CS. It was a sample. Okay, and it looks really nice on the page. It kind of holds up. It doesn't fade out or anything, and I really like it. So this is a broad nib, but it isn't as broad as the the other nibs, like say the Jinhao with the Yo-Wo on it, but that's, you know, that's to be expected. Now, I understand that, and it's just probably a double broad would be more my alley in this pen, but I do like it, and I'm becoming less worried about having something happen to it. So I need to write with it, and I have been trying to see if there's anything particular. I guess I just blabbed about what was going on during the day and waiting for the laundry. Okay. Oh, I was reading the book Brooklyn by Colm Tobin. Oh, what a nice book. And it's got a good movie, too. The movie's excellent. And I made a note that I found the converter for the pen. It was actually in the little Hello Kitty shooting star, platinum shooting star. So now I solved that mystery. Let's see. Gee, I guess that's a far away. I probably need to do a little bit of adjustment here. I'd like to be able to see the whole spread, but we'll probably just magnify just a little bit. Maybe that will help. Pretty straightforward. It doesn't have any, it has a little shading, and I actually had shading on this one too. This one had some really pretty little shading. Goodness, my thoughts are jumbled, but I know this is how I've been. It's definitely summer, and hot middle summer, and it started getting real busy here, but I thought this is the time I really enjoy when I review how things are going, because it kind of makes me slow down and think about how these are writing. Actually, we can't even see the whole page. Whoops. Let's try to get the whole page. Okay, next is one that I'm the most excited about. Of all of these 7 new to me inks, this Inkebara Deer Brown is, I'm just really excited about this ink. It's got a very unique look to it. It's got a lot of shading. It's, you know, I find it unique, even though I pulled out all of my colors, and we will do a little side panel because of that fact, because it made me think of several inks, but then when I got them side by side, they didn't look alike. So we'll do that here in just a minute. I've got the tiles right here. That was a big, like, rabbit hole I went down. So it's, I think it's a brown. It says Deer Brown, but it kind of, it veers me over into those muddy colors where you think there's green, and I didn't do a, okay, I think I did do let me just check. I think I did do a chromatography, and we will get to see that if I didn't. Yes, okay, I did do one, and it's stuck over in the other notebook. I was really kind of upset with myself. I didn't leave enough room over here for it. So, but it's just extremely flowy. This is the TWSBI Go with a broad nib, the clear, and it's just a joy. It's the one I pick up first when I'm going to write a letter, because I know it's just going to pour right out of the nib like I like it to. And it's really fun to activate with a water brush too. It goes lighter, but it has some uniqueness to it. I really like it. And I like the price, because $15 for 60 mil is better than quite a few of the inks that I've been looking at. But let's do a little quick panel, because you'll see maybe what I was thinking. Okay, this is not perfect because I've cut the heads off at the top here, but I wanted you to be able to read the ink names. I think that's important. So, of course, in the middle is our ink, Inkebara Deer Brown. And I started thinking, the first one I thought of was the Gold Antiqua, and then I was thinking about Robert Oster Bronze. And when I got them side by side, it was like, no, not quite. So it's really interesting how how the panel came together, where each one on here to me looks totally unique. But these were the ones that I went for to kind of compare. Even Muddy Bucket, which looks so far away from it, but there's just something that evokes that color, even though it doesn't come out anywhere near. In fact, I think maybe the Sailor Riku Shah looks the most like it, but not really, because when you look at what's going on inside there, you don't have nearly as much like regular brown. So let's see, let's take a look at that writing sample again, and maybe you'll be able to see it just, I don't know, it comes out with kind of that very, very unique, almost yellow. Let's take a look at the this is very awkward, the chromatography, because I I think that'll help a little bit. It does. Manuel, when I told him, I said, oh, Manuel, I don't know what to even call this ink. It's so weird. And he said, well, what's the mystery color or something like that? And that's when it made me think, oh yeah, I need to do a chromatography. So here's the thing. There's pink. Isn't that strange? I think that's so unique. And then the darker went all the way to the top. There definitely is kind of some orange going on. That is just amazing. So I'm comfortable saying it's pretty unique, even though it's got good company on the panel, and you know, it's not like you couldn't find one that would write similar. But anyway, that's the rabbit hole I went down, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I just thought I'd share that with you for what it's worth. I do not have every color there is. I realized my naive idea that you know, I would collect all the colors. That went away really quick in the first couple of years of being in the hobby. So I'll be right back with a return to the other page. Okay, so too bad I can't do that with each and every one, but it just isn't feasible at this time. But that was fun, and that was my favorite one of the 8 this month, so I thought, oh, I'm going to do that for that one. So the next up is the TWSBI Go in the Sapphire with a broad nib with Dominant Industry Lake. And this is another one that I purchased, ordered from Vanness with the gift card that a viewer sent. And I love this color. Look at that complexity that kind of comes out of the tile. And then it's just a really pleasing color here on the page. It's not too super neon bright. It's just nice. It's just really nice, and it's got really good flow. Let's see, that was still on the 12th. I was making these notes. Shading, I see plenty of shading. Again, like, I've got some brighter colors that I kind of prefer, and when I look at my top 12, you know, I definitely do like Diamine Aqua Lagoon best. That still stands out, even compared to that one. And I guess that's the only blue that I have on my favorite, you know, my ultimate favorites there. But this is a pleasure to write with. I haven't had any trouble at all with how it writes, and I love it. So, I need to write more letters. That's what I'm up to. Trying to kind of go slow and steady and get things done here. Okay, so next up is the TWSBI Swipe with a broad nib and Dominant Industry Autumn Forest. This is the one with the beautiful pink shimmer. Now, I'm having trouble seeing the shimmer, so I'm getting like spots where I can see it, and it's really hard to show even where it does show. So like right there, I had some shinies. They're just hard to see. Probably knock everything over trying to show you. Yeah, it's just almost impossible with this lighting. But it's still, I love the base color enough that I'm not worried about whether I'm going to see the shading all the time. But definitely when we get in the other notebook, you'll see I did some splatters. And I did I believe I did a chromatography on this one. I did like 4 of them. The ones that I thought would do well on that made in Vietnam paper, I did do the, what do you call it, chromatography. So, yes, I purchased this one too from Vanness, and inspired by my pen friend TB, who sent me writing with the ink. And I love it. I've got the little bottle of it. And what I'm hoping to do is maybe put it in like a 1.5 nib or a Pilot Parallel, so I can really see the shimmer, because the shimmer is gorgeous. And I do more writing than I do art, so I really want to find a nib that I'm going to love it in. I don't dislike it in here, but as you might be able to tell, at the beginning where this feed was saturated, it was nice and dark, and then it lightens and lightens as we go. And I do write fast, so that's part of it. That's part of my dilemma there, I think. Okay, before we're here all day. Next up is the TWSBI Eco Blue Transparent with a broad nib. And this is the Inkebara Sea Blue. This was sent along with that order, the large order I made was sent as a freebie from Vanness. And it's got beautiful red sheen, and it's just a really nice saturated blue that looks as though it'll clean out of pens really well. That's what I like about it. At least that's what I believe. I'll have to update you on that once I've actually cleaned the pen out. But it's just so nice and flowy and bright and readable and dark at the same time. It hits everything that I really love. I'm getting distracted because I'm reading about cat stuff. Coco just came and jumped onto his captain's chair next to my pen desk. I wish I knew his thoughts. Yeah, he gives me some looks, and I do wish I could tell what he's thinking, although maybe I would want to take it back or send it back if I did know. Okay. This is in that same line, the Inkebara that's $15 for 60 ml bottle, so it's pretty neat. Yeah, this is another one of those, one of the 4 that I really, really love this month. It's just really a joy to write with. So next up is the Jinhao X750 stainless steel, or, well, it's steel, I think is the description that they use, with a broad goulet nib on it. That's a powerhouse combination for me. I love it. I just love it. I actually need, like, 4 or 5 more of those nibs, I think. So this is Dominant Industry Downpour. It's a beautiful gray, kind of looks purple in a way, but I couldn't chase anything like that out of the chromatography, so we'll look at that in a minute. And it is lighter, and the more I write with it, like, it does start out pretty dark, yes, because the beginning of that fill, let's see, or when the feed is saturated, whoops. And then it goes more to a medium gray as you go along. Now this here is a mistake where you see blue, my finger, where you see blue here, it actually lifted from the other side. It didn't disturb the other side. But this is such a saturated, that sea blue from Inkebara just kind of showed through. So that's not complexity or anything. That's just a reaction. And it happens every once in a while, so. I said we need rain. We still need rain. Parts of our area got drenched yesterday, like an hour-long shower. My brother-in-law out on his ranch got lots of rain. He was so happy, but we got clouds and we didn't get any rain. We really need it, so hopefully next time it'll be our turn. Anyway, getting distracted by my own notes there. Okay, so next up is the last one, last but not least. The pen that I already reviewed now is the Opus 88 Halo in purple, and the color is here on the section with a broad nib. And I just love this pen. I love it, and I'm really happy that I picked Pilot Iroshizuku Murasaki Shikabu because, I kind of knew how the ink behaves, and it is just perfect. It's not the darkest, most saturated or brightest purple, but it's a safe one for a nice demonstrator like this, and I kind of knew how it would act, and I love it. I do tend to go for the dark and bright purples. So I'm not sure I will go beyond the small bottle that I have of this, but it is a dynamite ink. It's just wonderful. It's just that I think when you get right down to it, Waterman Tender Purple is brighter and darker, so I think there's that, and then there's a couple others that I noticed would be in that same category. But I love it, and I know the predictability of how the flow is of this and everything. So, okay, I think that's pretty much it. What I wanted to say was that I'm very happy with it, and definitely great for letter writing. So I managed to do 8 broad nibs, but like there's a Lamy broad nib, a platinum broad nib, and then there's 4 TWSBI broad nibs that don't act exactly the same because this Eco has a smaller broad nib. It's like there was a little variety there. You still can't complain. It's still like nice and smooth. And then of course I've got the number 6 Goulet nib, and then I've got the Opus 88 number 5 size. So, you can compare them pretty well with each other, the TWSBIs and the Opus. those are comparable. Anyway, all broad nibs. I'm not surprised. It's just kind of how I do things. But let's get into the Unison Composition book. I did 4 of these in here. I decided not to do all of them because the lighter saturated ones I knew were not going to quite make it on this paper. So I'll be right back with a beginning in that notebook. Okay, so the first thing I did was, you know, kind of make a little tester over here on the side real quick. And what I decided to do was only put the ones in this book that I felt like were going to do well on this paper, because it doesn't take much now for me to feel when an ink and pen, I'm not going to be as happy with it on this made in Vietnam paper. Not all inks and nibs are quite right for it. I want it to still feel real smooth. So 4 that did work out were the TWSBI Go with a broad nib with the Inkebara Deer Brown, and then the TWSBI Eco with a broad nib with Inkebara Sea Blue, then the Jinhao X750 with the broad Goulet nib and Downpour, Dominant Industry Downpour, and Opus 88 Halo with the Pilot Murasaki Shikaboo, but I don't think I did that one. I just did the 3 new to me inks, you know, because we got really crazy busy this week, and I thought let's just stick to what is realistic here. So the first one I did was the Inkebara. Let's see, I'm not sure. Let me hold up the splatters so you can kind of see it. They were really, really unique and pretty, I thought. There's no sparkly or anything, but there's quite a bit of kind of a steely sheen that lands there. And then this unique chromatography where it kind of looks pink. It starts off pink and then it goes up kind of a orangey earth tone and then a dark, dark kind of brown at the top. So I really, really like this ink. I give that an A+. Oh, I forgot. We might want to go back in and grade. I might have to have a gray. Yeah, I'll use a gray pen to grade so that I don't have to go through each pen or it'll take forever. But yeah, this is great on this paper. And then next up was this Inkebara Sea Blue, which look at that. Just look at that sheen. It's just crazy on the splatter. I love that kind of thing. I really do. And then I love how you're getting that dark blue, kind of a bright and dark. And then when you use the water brush, you're getting this kind of a turquoise. So it's just fun. That's all. I put saturation, flow, bright color, and sheen. This ink has a lot going for it, and it's not in that high cost category, I would call it. So very straightforward chromatography. It didn't travel very far up the thing either, so the chromatography strip. So then, okay, last but not least in this notebook is Dominant Industry Downpour, and it's, you know, it's a gray with, I feel like it's complex even though it doesn't show any complexity in the chromatography, but it's unique among the ones I've written with and I like it. So I'm definitely covered in the gray department. It does not take away my love for Graf von Faber-Castell Stone Gray. That's still my favorite, and it has more permanence, so I really love that. But this is a fun ink to write with, and I liked how it activated with the water brush. It's kind of really nice, like detail and fading, and then going back in with a little more ink. Not that I do that often, but I thought it was a lot of fun to do that. And I gave it that an A for flow and color. So I guess it is time to go hop into the grades since I like doing that, but I thought I'd take you along into my thought process just for those who are interested. I kind of recognize it might be a scary place to go inside my brain, but I'll be right back. Okay, here we are in the grade book. Now, just before I start doing this, I have to say it's not a fair process. It's very biased toward what I like. So this grading is not really for anyone else to say, oh, that's a terrible ink or that's a great ink, because it all has to do with my purposes. The fact that I like really, really flowy, broad nib, you know, ink that just comes right out you know, combinations, because it's not just the ink. It's definitely the feed and nib and the whole 9 yards, and the paper. So just keep that in mind, because what I like might not work, you know, as well for you, especially if you use fine nibs. So, but the first one here, I really like this. The Lamy Safari with the white red and the Dominant Industry Royal Azalea. I would definitely, I have no strikes against it at all, so I definitely would give it an A. It's got great flow, and the color is cheerful. And then, like, it's not obnoxious. It's not like neon where you get sick of looking at it. So I would just call it like pleasant. And that's a lot of my grading process, is how do I feel about how it looks in a letter, or how do I like looking at it. Okay, so next up, Platinum 3776 Century Nice with the broad nib and Conklin Vintage Purple. Another one where there's no way I can find anything wrong with it. It's a high graded, you know, it's an A. And the same, you got flow. The color is beautiful. I'm trying to think, you know, like, I'm getting over the idea that it's an expensive pen that I don't want to crack and that kind of thing. I'm even just using a refilled cartridge with this, and I'm happy with it. So that's that. Okay, this I know is an A+, and it might even go to like A, you know, 2 pluses, because it's just my favorite of all of them. And I think right off the bat, it's a fire hose. That combination, you know, that combination, and I've not said that about everything I wrote with in this, so I just know that it's really a nice flowy ink. And I find it to be unique. It made me think of all those really unique inks, and you can kind of see that. It comes across almost like gold or wheat, or, you know, it's not just your ordinary brown whatsoever. I really like that. I don't expect that to just linger around. Of course, maybe they have good stock of it. I hope so, but, you know. Okay, so next up, TWSBI Go Sapphire with Dominant Industry Lake. And keeping in mind that I'm also not grading these based on just the Unison. I'm not grading just based on the Made in Vietnam paper, because I'm mostly writing letters on Cosmo Airlight and Tomoe River paper. So, and my notes journal right now is also Tomoe River paper. So, gosh, I can't get anything but an A, can I? That's amazing. That's good, though. Straight A's is good, I guess, if that's what we end up with. Yeah, it's pretty. The ink is really pretty. I love these these TWSBI Go's. I find them to be very easy, especially now that I know how to take them apart and make sure that, you know, if things are getting unloosened, and I can do my own kind of maintenance on them. Excuse me. It's pretty, and it's flowy. It's just, you know, a great writer. Okay, next up, okay, next up is the TWSBI Swipe with the broad nib. And, okay, so this is a shimmer ink, and it happens a lot where I kind of don't feel that A+ feeling about a shimmer ink unless it acts like my gold standard is the J.R. Bond Amethyst de Laurel, because it flows so well, and it doesn't alter. It writes well all the way through. So I think I would go down to a B on this one, but it's early, so I would just put like question mark and an I for incomplete, because I need to, you know, this is the first pen I've had this in, so it's not really fair to hit it hard with a bad grade right off the bat. But I did notice that I'm sure I want to find something better. So it's sort of okay, I'm just going to put shimmer question mark absent, but not completely. So, I mean, I love the ink, and I'm sure there's a better combination for it, you know. And I love the pen, too, and I've had great luck with the pen. So we have to kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to put too soon, because I definitely want to not get discouraged about it. I have that beautiful bottle, and I'm going to continue my explorations. So next up, oh, this is an A+, definitely. A+. This is the TWSBI Eco with the blue transparent and Inkebara Sea Blue. Oh my gosh, that's pretty. And I've written with so many blues that for a while there, I just wouldn't even put blue in a pen because I just went crazy with blues. But even so, this has my head turning. It's excellent. It's just gorgeous. It makes me want to get out a whole bunch of blues and just start trying to understand why this one has got me interested after, you know, kind of being, you know, not sick of blue, but just overly, I wrote with so many blue inks in that bright blue kind of category there, or I would say like darker than turquoise, but just so pretty. Yeah, but I love it. I love it. And I happen, you know, I keep thinking about the price, like it's not that bad. So, okay. Next up is the Jinhao X750 with the Dominant Industry Downpour broad goulet nib. This is great. It's great. I would probably give it like an A+. I'm going to give it an A because I think I've gotten along even better with some other gray inks, like my favorite one, the Graf von Faber-Castell Stone Gray. I also really like Le Bon Athena, and I like Diamine Earl Grey too. So it's hard for me to give this just the top grade because it's just great. It's solid. You know, I'd even say excellent. Excellent. Just not stone gray. That's crazy. Yeah, I like it though. I'm just going to put not top favorite. Oh dear. Okay. So last but not least is the Opus 88 Halo with the broad nib and the Pilot Iroshizuku Murasaki Shikabu. This is excellent. It's an A, and really, if I really loved the slightly lighter purple, it would probably be an A+ for me. I think it would be an A+ though for most everybody that likes purple, that isn't, yeah. So I'm going to give it an A+ because I'm happy every time I write with it, even though it isn't my very favorite purple ink. So it's just extremely flowy. It's flowy and pleasant, smooth, like crazy, and I love the color. Even though, like I said, if I had to choose, it would be a darker ink, but more saturated by a couple notches, like the exact same purple dialed up, I think. So there's the grades. It's an honor roll. We did kind of fall a little below. And you know, I love the color. If it was just based on like the splatters and the fun stuff like that, probably it would grade higher. So in fact, I was thinking, wait a minute, did I not do that one? Oh, that's a shame if I didn't do that one. I didn't do that one. Autumn Forest. What was I thinking? Okay, before I come back on here again, I'm going to have to do that one because that would have been the fun part, would have been seeing that. That kind of is a sign of the times of this week. I have been really busy, and I meant to do that. I really wanted to. That's this ink. Can you imagine what that would look like with that pink shimmer? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I didn't do that. Maybe what I'll do is just share the photos from that, because I could do that here in the community tab and on Instagram. But this is me showing up even though I really wasn't completely satisfied with the amount of progress report checking in that I had done. But it's important to me because otherwise I just keep inking more pens and I keep going off down on rabbit holes. But ever since I started doing it this way, where I knew I'd share with you guys, then I've been more focused and been more able to follow through with, you know, testing out each one, and it's made me much more able to predict which inks I more wanted to write with and why. It's helped me a lot to stay more focused. You know, and that's why I kind of confined the studies to the 8. Even though I do sometimes ink more because I just can't stand it if something comes through the door that I have to try out. So here's the progress report. I keep doing these because I have had a lot of good feedback that people like to see this, and I am sorry that I forgot to do that splatter ink splatters with this one. I'm going to put that right on my main desk so I'll remember to work on it. And I'll see you next time, and I'd like to hear from you more in the comments. I've been reading a lot of your comments on what inks and pens you're working with, and I enjoy that. So I'll see you next time, and hopefully this isn't so long that it doesn't actually make it, but hopefully it will. Bye for now.